Welcome back to another episode of After the License, the podcast where we help real estate agents build their business. I'm your host, Jeff Bittner. As always, if you're listening to the podcast, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. We have YouTube-specific trainings and we have a ton of goodies in the description. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you go and subscribe to the podcast. That way you can listen to a lot of these when you walk the dog or go wash your car or whatever that looks like. Today, we're going to talk about prospecting versus marketing. Prospecting versus marketing. Both these terms kind of get used interchangeably when we talk about lead generation, when we talk about building your business. But in my opinion, they're two very separate things. And depending on where you're at in your real estate business, you're most likely going to focus on one versus the other, or you should at least be thinking about the two and how they work with your business. So what's the difference? What is prospecting and what is marketing? In my opinion, prospecting is the act of going out and actually earning leads, right? Kind of figuring out a way to rub two sticks together and generate a fire is, in my opinion, prospecting, right? So we think about going out and actually kind of getting business, finding a way to go out and make things happen. That is prospecting. Prospecting is cold calling. Prospecting is door knocking. Prospecting is reaching out to your database and sphere of influence. It's an action thing, right? It's if it doesn't happen, if you're not taking action, that prospecting isn't actually going to work. And I think the biggest differentiator for prospecting versus marketing is the time piece. Most all prospecting methods require a ton of time. They require you to be the catalyst. They require that you go out and kind of hunt down that new business. And the opposite is marketing. Marketing, in my opinion, is more of that money-based thing, right? It's that, hey, I'm gonna spend money, right, or less time, and I'm gonna kind of leverage out my lead generation. So marketing might be spending money on a billboard. It might be spending money on Facebook ads. It might be spending money on doing videos, but you're kind of putting these things out in the world and having people come to you. So prospecting is you going to the potential lead. Marketing is the leads coming to you. And again, the biggest differentiator in my opinion is kind of time. How much actual time are you going to go in there to kind of rubbing two sticks together to generate leads? Or in the other case is kind of money. Most of the time, marketing requires has a higher cost to it. And that's just kind of the way things work. If you're going to go pay for marketing, if you're going to go pay for a billboard or pay for Facebook ads, or you're going to pay for a camera to do videos, it has a higher cost and it takes longer, right? But it requires less in the moment time. So what should you be focusing on? Most people, when they're brand new and they have a low marketing budget, they focus on some type of prospecting. They do open houses, right? They do cold calls, they do door knocking, they're calling their database, their sphere of influence. And I think that's great. And for a lot of people, they can build a career off that. But ultimately, if you are the single person doing that prospecting, eventually you're going to get too busy. And eventually you're going to have to shift to a more marketing based business. And I think that's kind of the trajectory in real estate is you start off with a lot of prospecting, you do a ton of open houses, or you do a ton of cold calling or a ton of door knocking, or you're constantly reaching out to your database and sphere of influence and doing pop buys and all that stuff. And then eventually you get really busy and you have to figure out how to spend less time and more money and do more marketing and more branding things. And so that tends to be the trajectory. So if you have a ton of time and you don't have a huge marketing budget, look towards prospecting. If you're really, really busy but you want to increase your business, look towards marketing things that maybe cost more money but don't require as much time from you, that go out and actually kind of hunt down that business. Okay guys, that is prospecting versus marketing. I hope that explanation makes sense. Drop a comment if you have any questions. Do you do more prospecting? Do you do more marketing? What's your balance look like? And as always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you check out that description, join our Facebook mastermind group, and get that free course on how to build your database and your sphere of influence. Okay, thanks everybody. I'll catch you next time.